And just where did you find the wig, Deborah?
I think you know exactly where I found it, Nola. Just as you know exactly what it was used for.
I know nothing of the kind.
It was just one more make-up triumph for you, wasn't it?
What?
Nola, this is the wig you wore the night you murdered Margo Dorn.
You're mad.
Why don't you try it on for me, huh? I'd like to see what you look
Where
like
did you
in this
get
wig.
that wig? What right did you have
What right did I have to steal it from you?
How did you get to this house? It's illegal search, you know. It's not evidence. It's all a plot, a trick to incriminate me. You planted it in my bedroom. Yes, that's what you did. I've always heard about police planting evidence, and now I see it with my own eyes.
In your bedroom. Why did you keep it, Nola, huh? Why didn't you burn it? Did you want it as a souvenir of that night? A little memento for your scrapbook of memorable performances?
You don't know what you're talking about. You're simply trying to
It was your final
me
performance,
into
Nola.
something.
You played the role of Margo Dorn.
I didn't. No.
I suppose you've heard by now.
Heard what?
The train wreck.
What train wreck?
Draper Scott is dead. He was killed on his way to prison. I suppose that's one way to escape.
I'm too late. Oh, God. How could such a terrible thing happen?
I'm sorry, Deborah. I thought you knew. I thought the police had everything covered.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, God, it's so wrong. It's so unfair.
Oh, yes, you're the one to talk about unfair. Elliott, if you could have heard the ridiculous accusations she's been making.
Nola, you're drunk.
You wouldn't blame me for drinking if you'd been here. If you'd heard what she said to me, you wouldn't believe it. But of course, I do believe it. Because we both know how desperate the police have been to try to get their precious friend Draper off the hook.
Nola, haven't you heard what I've been saying? Draper Scott was killed in a train wreck at Grand Falls.
Are you sure, Elliott? Has it been confirmed?
I'm sorry, Deborah, yes. Draper is dead. So is the police sergeant that was taking him to prison. They were both still handcuffed.
Oh, how grisly. But who knows? Perhaps it was some kind of providence, a sort of mercy killing, don't you think? The poor man faced years and years in prison.
It was for nothing, Nola. For absolutely nothing. Because he didn't kill Margo Dorn. You know he didn't. You killed her.
Deborah.
There. You see what I mean? You see what I've had to put up with while you were out doing whatever it was you were doing? She comes into this house with that ridiculous wig.
The stolen wig, Nola.
Please, darling, stop this. For heaven's sake, don't you realize you don't have to play this game anymore? You don't have to find some way out for your friend Draper. He's gone.
That doesn't change what you did, Nola. It doesn't change the facts.
Deborah, you're upset. Look, Nola couldn't have done it any more than I could have done it. Draper was alone with Margo when it happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. He was alone with her, but not when it happened. Margo was attacked an hour before he even got there.
What?
It's true. You know, I really found out. I finally understand exactly what happened in the penthouse that night. And it's so simple. It's so much simpler than I ever imagined. You were at the penthouse an hour before, Nola. You gave your name as Nola Patterson. You went to see Margo to make one last try at changing your name to Nola Dorn.
I know the game you're playing, Margo, and I think it's despicable. God, you want to punish Elliott. You want to prevent him from being happy.
Preventing Elliott from doing anything? He's quite a free fellow to do whatever he wishes. He could institute his own divorce proceedings.
Oh, you know he'd never succeed. You'd fight him.
Oh, and I wouldn't have to fight very hard. Do you want to know why?
No.
But I think you might benefit a little from some of the details, my dear.
I don't want to hear any cheap gossip from you.
Oh, it's hardly cheap gossip. Not where Elliott's concerned. Oh, no. His lady loves have cost me a pretty penny. For instance, my maid, Sarah.
Look, stop this. I don't want to hear anything against Elliott.
You only knew the kindness I'm trying to do to you.
For God's sake, I'm sick of hearing about the great favor you're doing me. I know all about Elliott's philandering. I know exactly what I'm getting. But I can tell you this, Margo. Loneliness is no favor. Haven't you discovered that?
Yes, I know all about loneliness, Nola. But I also learned something else. That with dignity, loneliness suddenly becomes a little more bearable. Now, you ought to try that sometime. You might learn something by it. Excuse me. Hello. Oh, Draper, yes. How are you, dear? What? Oh, you mean you and April would like... Oh, I see. What do you mean? Yes, I heard about that. Poor David Henson died. I'm sorry, poor man. Look, Draper, whatever you heard was probably grossly exaggerated. That woman David married never cared for me very much, and What? No! Draper, no, I don't want you coming over in this mood. Look, call me tomorrow when you've calmed down a little bit, and Oh, all right. But you'll have to give me a little time. I have an errand that I've got to run. Make it in about an hour, all right? Goodbye. Sorry, Mrs. Madison, we're going to have to cut this conversation short.
You can't do that. This is terribly important.
Look, it may be important to you, but I have to do the 11 o'clock news, and if I don't get a wig over there to the hairdresser, I'll never get ready.
Margo, we have to talk. You can't just walk out on me.
It is not a question of walking out on you. It turns out my son-in-law is coming over here in a terrible rage about something, and if I don't get this thing to the studio, I'll never be ready for the news.
I don't get some air.
Oh, Nola, please, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Just like that. Get out. Go away. Curl up and die. Nobody needs you anymore. Nobody wants you anymore.
Elliott certainly doesn't want you. He wants your fame. He wants your wealth. He doesn't want you.
You're a liar. You're a jealous, frustrated, vindictive woman. You hate Elliott because he loves me. Loves me, not you.
For heaven's sakes, talk about love being blind. You are a complete idiot. And what are those doors doing open? For heaven's sake, it's freezing.
Margo! No! God, it was horrible. The terrible sound of it. The way her eyes rolled back into her head. And the way she fell to the floor like a bundle of rags. And the wind blowing in from the terrace. God, the coldest wind I'd ever felt in my whole life.
Oh, my God, Nola! How did she just vanish like that?
Why don't you tell us, Nola? You were there?
Yes, I was there. I was there in that room with her. Only she wasn't her anymore. She was a thing. A loathsome thing. I thought she was dead. Out of Elliott's life, and my own life could... No, it wasn't that simple. I suddenly realized I'd become a criminal. And criminals are punished. It was so quiet, except for the wind, when I found myself thinking clearly. I began to think of what I must do. Fingerprints. Oh, there mustn't be any fingerprints. And then I remembered I had a little less than an hour before Draper Scott was going to be there. What did Margo say? He was in a rage? Yes. He was coming over in a rage. Then I saw Margo's wig. I knew exactly what I was going to do. Exactly. I was going to leave the building as Nola Patterson, but I was going to come back as Margo Dorn. It was almost exactly an hour later I came back to Margo's apartment house. I'd seen Draper Scott parked outside, waiting for his mother-in-law. But when she walked into the building, her collar up against the cold, not even the doorman knew the difference.
Ah, good evening, Mrs. Dorn. How are you this evening?
All right, Oscar. Listen, my son-in-law will be here any minute. Let him come straight up.
Ah, yes, ma'am.
And in the elevator, I pushed the button for basement. Then I pushed the button for penthouse. No one was in the basement. I hurried off to the street exit while the elevator climbed back to the penthouse floor. It was there when Draper arrived. And while Draper was looking at her, I was on my way home. I was a fool to save Margo's wig. But then I've always been a one for scrapbooks, reviews, clippings, reminders of my best performances. And you'll have to admit, that was one of my best.
Nola, this isn't the wig.
What did you say?
This is just one exactly like it. I asked the Mystique Hair Salon to create another one for me.
It isn't Margo's wig?
No. Any more than you were Margo. All right, we'll be here. Nola? Steve and Owen will be here soon.
Owen? Does he know the whole story, too?
Yes, he does.
But I haven't seen my movie yet.
Well, you could go ahead and watch it, Nola. They won't be here for a while.
Oh, how very sweet of you, Deborah. It's very thoughtful. Elliott, did you hear what Deborah said? We can watch the movie. We can see it before the public does. Isn't that nice?
I'm sorry, Nola. I'm really not in the mood for light entertainment.
Are you going someplace?
Yes, I am. We're both going someplace, aren't we? And it's not Hollywood, is it?
Elliott, we'll need your testimony, you realize.
You needn't worry, Deborah. I'm not planning on leaving Monticello, just this house. The original mansion of the damned. I'm sorry, Nola.
But Elliott, please. What I did for you. She wouldn't give you a divorce. There was only one answer.
It was the wrong answer, Nola.
Elliott, if you leave me, I'll have nothing. Nothing at all.
You'll still have your movie, Nola. And if it's any consolation to you, I think you're a marvelous actress.
Yes. I still have my movie. Wasn't it magnificent? Wasn't it my very best performance?
Oh, yes, Nola, it was a wonderful performance. Critics are going to rave about it.
You know, I thought it was going to be just a little picture, just a nice, modest little thriller that would come and go and be seen no more. But now, I wouldn't be surprised if it became some sort of classic.
Yes, it could happen.
It might even be an award-winning performance. Do you think that's possible?
I don't know, Nola.
I've been nominated more than once, you know. And sometimes the Academy members give the award to actors for their past triumphs, not just for the present. Do you think Mansion of the Damned might do that for me?
I certainly hope so.
Deborah, has she really confessed?
Yes, she's willing to give a full confession.
Owen, look.
Nola, I heard the whole story.
It's really going to happen. Finally.
I've got the limousine outside.
A limousine. Oh, how very thoughtful of you, darling.
Yeah, well, I was going to use it to go to the airport, but now...
Oh, and the movie is wonderful. It's simply enchanting. I'm sure that's what the critics will say. Nola Patterson is enchanting as Hester Atherton, the lovable witch, the magnificent monster. Oh, darling, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I want to thank my director, my beloved son, and all my friends who never lost faith in me through all the long years of my absence from the screen, who knew that someday...
No.
Oh, don't worry, Owen. I know I won't be there to receive the award. Someone else will have to accept it for me. Who will, Owen? Will you?
Yes. Yes, I'll accept it for you, Nola.
Excuse me. I think it's time we go.
Oh, right. Steve, her coat's in the closet.
I'm ready.
this late hour?
It's not really that late.
We all wanted to be here, April.
April, there's something you have to know. There was an accident tonight. A train accident.
Train? Draper's train?
There was a flood upstate, and it damaged a bridge.
No! Don't say anymore. I don't want to hear anymore.
You have to hear it.
No, I don't want to hear it. I know what you're going to say. You're going to tell me that Draper's dead. You're going to tell me that my husband is dead.